Let's return to my chat with former Wexford boss Liam Griffin, and I asked him next about whether he was in favour of the new 10-minute sin bin and penalty for cynical play in hurling.
Absolutely, 100%, 100,000%, million percent. Look, the art of defending is slowly being eroded, right? I can remember some of the great players that I saw play hurling over a long number of years. And it was, wonderful stickmen at the back. The system now is pull them down. And I see that now going right down into the children. And this ruck drives me insane. It's no place in the game of hurling. I think you'll be arrested now if you pull down a ball. Something I could send for the guards. We've even managed hurls that you can't pull with. So, that's just outlandish. And then what we have then is we've the Maor, where you catch the fellow with your loose hand. That was trained into people. And it's happening with youngsters as well. So our game that we think is the purest of the pure, in the All-Ireland final of in the All-Ireland series of 2019, of the 26 games played, 3 were a draw, 22 games were won, and the 22 games won were won by the team that fouled the most. Fouled the most. Right? So what does that indicate? That indicates that fouling pays. Why? Because you can take points from any angle, and the sweeper, and I think a sweeper should be available to people if they want to, but it shouldn't be wedded to it forever. There are times when the sweeper shouldn't be playing. It probably should be different, but that's up to the people, and I respect them for that. But now some people have said, okay, we'll get 30 points or 27 or 28 points. If they don't get a goal, I think they're only going to get about 22 or 3 points, so we should be able to win that game, provided we don't let them in for goals. So they're stopping in the middle of the field now. And I tell you, your county has been a victim of it as well. And also, the rucks, everybody's fouling went into the rucks. And there was a picture on the paper after the All-Ireland final on the Sunday morning where Desi Hutchinson, you should look it up, on the Irish Independent, was caught in the mall. And you couldn't believe that it could happen in the game of hurling. And he could, I don't know what happened next. He could have been blown for overcarrying, but there was no way he was getting out of there, and he was being pulled and dragged and the whole lot. That's happening all the time. And what happens when the ball is thrown in one of these rucks? The next best thing is going to happen. It's going to be thrown in again. So, those are aberrations of the game. They're not actually major parts of it. So I'm in favour of the sin bin. There's a bloody long answer again to it. But the reason I was in favour of the sin bin for a long time, you could get 4,500 yellow cards and go home in the night and nobody ever say a word to you. You could do it in every single game you play forever. So therefore, a fella now that's a bit hardy, a bit of a lad that could do a bit of a job, and you pull that down and dragging that arm in the meantime, it'd be worth something. If that's the kind of calibre of a player that you have to wear to play hurling, we're all wasting our time. I certainly won't be going to do many matches in a few years' time if it persists, and that's the truth. We're winding up, we're losing smaller players from the game as a result of what's happening now. They're disadvantaged as well because when they get the ball, by the time they get it, they nearly have to send for it to get a ball sometimes nowadays. And when they get the ball, some fella just touches to his armour and they pull him down. And the referee blows a whistle, gives a yellow card to your man, and your man proceeds on, he's still in the field, and the corner forward can't even go to a ball. And that's happening. It's happening. It's on video. I've 10 of them or 15 of them on record already. It's just absolutely an aberration. So, penalty, and you go off, my friend, instead of saying, oh no, geez, you can't send a fella off to that. If he gets 10 minutes off on the sideline, after a while, they won't do that again. Because after a while, you'll be going up to the fella and say, would you, for Christ's sake, go out in front of your man and start hurling the ball, right? You're getting this caught every week with penalties. And that's why you should be told, instead of told to pull him down. And I'm telling you, it's built into the game plan of the games, and that's it. And you're here watching young lads, screaming at young lads to pull him down, and they're going through with the ball.
What are your memories, Liam, of captaining De La Salle College in 1965 in the Harty Cup? Do you have fond memories here of Waterford?
I have. I loved De La Salle. I absolutely loved it, and I loved the place. I loved the lads in it, and I loved the De La Salle brothers. They gave up their lives for me. Now, there's a few of them give me a few clatters in that time, and I still never resented it. I deserved them. I'm sure I deserved them, to be quite honest with you. But look, my greatest regret is losing a Harty Cup final for De La Salle, and I was a major contributor to losing that game myself, which kills me. And I often think about it. And we had won football in Munster, and we had never got to a Harty Cup final. And without being boasted, played reasonably well in all the other matches. But I just was over the top, and I couldn't get the ball over the bar. I think I dropped 7 or 8 wides in the first 10 or 15 minutes playing with the win. And that's my biggest regret. And I would have loved to win a Harty Cup with De La Salle. And we were good enough to win All-Ireland. We beat Kieran's a few times that year. They won the All-Ireland. We hammered Peters in Wexford. We were beaten by nobody, I think, in practice matches. But on that day, Eamon Grimes, actually got 3 goals and early on, look, it's still. If I was going to die in the morning, if you ask me what's my biggest regret in sport, that's it. So there you go. Anyway, I was looking at great times in LSL. I played football as well. We won Munster championships, and we had great brothers in charge of us, and it's just nothing but great memories for me. Now, I wasn't brilliant academically because I was too busy around hurling pitches and football pitches, much to my mother's disgust, even though she was mad into hurling. But however,
Liam Griffin, an absolute pleasure to chat to you today. Thanks so much for your time.
No problem, Tomas. Sorry for all the long answers.
Lorna Porca with Tomas McCarthy on WLR.
Well, the role of Mayor Foirne was disbanded at last weekend's annual Congress, and Nigel Kelly got the thoughts of Dan Shanahan on the matter.
When I was there, it's to get your point across to the players. You have to get onto the field, with so many people cheering and fans there, there was 20,000 people there. They would cornerback wouldn't hear you, if you know what I'm saying to you. So I don't agree with it, Nigel, if I'm being honest with you. I think, if you want to get your point across to a player that's playing cornerback and you can't, how are you going to do it? It's something I don't agree with. Anytime I was on the field, I never said anything to any opposition player. So it was always into my own players I was going to. I just don't agree with Nigel. I think it's going to be so hard for managers to get their points across now to players, or where to go, or who to pick up, etc., etc. But look, they made that decision, I suppose, and it's going to be tough for Nigel.
I know, Dan, there was times when you were in the role, Derek, and there was a bit of a laugh at it that you're on the field nearly as much as the players at times, and obviously it was taken in good jest, but it does make it tough to actually kind of perform the role, doesn't it?
It does, Nigel, but I think the players need that as well, if you know what I'm saying to you, that I can come on and give them the bit of guidance that I was informed by Derek to maybe say tight walk to sit deep or whatever message you want to get on to who was there, who was involved, but not able to do that now. It's going to be strange. It's going to be hard, Nigel. I think the doctors or the team physios are going to be a lot more busier than what they're going to be bringing on messages, if you know what I'm saying to you, if the Mayor Foirne can't get on, but it's something I don't agree with, Nigel. That's just my point. I think I look at the Aussie rules, and when you look at their sport, they can have a runner that can go onto the field anytime once he's not interfering with the play or with other opposition players. I thought that would be the way forward. But look again, these fellas are making the big decisions, but again, I don't agree with it.
If you look at the likes of the rugby, Dan, and maybe if you have an injured player who's actually able to kind of get about, and like we saw it there last week with Johnny Sexton in the rugby, and he was going on as the water boy, and obviously he's filling that role and he's getting water to the players, but more importantly he's getting information on, and he's a guy who you can trust to relay the correct message. And you mentioned there, is it the physios or the doctors? And recently I was watching one of the Lions documentaries, and one of the doctors for the rugby, he was relaying a lot of the tactical information too. That's surely a shift we'll have to see, is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think, as you mentioned there, the hurling men might come into it. Maybe they could be subs that hadn't talked out on the day, that they could be doing hurleys or something like that they get the information, their earpiece, they're wired up or whatever it is at the moment, and they bring on the information. But again, it's just something that personally I thought when I was going on to anyone, the boys, to tell them to mark up or to read the game better, whatever message I had to get across, it was done face to face with Mayor Foirne, So I just think it's so tough now. I suppose it's easier now, maybe there's no crowds going to games with the COVID situation, but back in 2017 Ireland final there, you've 85,000 people. How can you shout at Shane Five's corner back to do this or do that? You have to get your point across, and go into the field, and it's tough now. It's going to be tough on management, but again, look, they'll get on with it.
The Rock and Dan are getting a sit last from the pass, Marty. The two boys having a word in their ear out in the middle of the pitch in Croke Park.
Well, they were used to marking each other in their playing days. They had a little bit of a push. You can see Dermot O'Sullivan, the Rock, having a little smile. But just telling Dan the man that the Rock is still alive and well.
Now you're hurling. Lorna Porca with Tomas McCarthy on WLR.